Okay, today I'm doing a gut shot of the Promos 425, the linear power 2602, and taking a look at a JL Audio 10W6, the first version. Here's the board for the Promos 425, and as you can see, it's not one power supply section followed by an output section. It's two power supply sections, two output sections that are pretty much, just on the same PCB, but it looks like two distinct amplifiers under one chassis, which wasn't uncommon for this time. And then even earlier, like the Orion 425 that I previously did, had the same exact kind of setup. Another thing interesting about this is you can see the transistors are mounted on the PCB in an identical way to the Orions. How they did it was they just soldered the transistor onto contact pads on the top of the PCB, not through hole, but just sitting right on top. And I like this because they don't bend, the transistor. It's sitting flat. It's super easy to get to. You could replace one without even pulling the board on one of these. So I just like the way they did that. Now I'll do a slow kind of pan by it. You can see there printed on the board, made in the USA by Americans. Just the, I run PPI did a lot of that back then. So I'll just kind of scan down it, try and get as still of a shot as I can. Kind of shaky. I don't have a tripod or anything. But yeah, just a really cool board to an amplifier. The You can see how many transistors are on this board, and that's why I really want a 450. I'd like to somehow clamp the FETs and then do a plexi bottom. That thing has just a ton of them on there. It's just a really cool looking board. I mean, this one's sweet, but that one's just it's crazy. Another thing about this 425 is that it existed after the A series was out. Like, I think only for a year they overlapped, but because this one's from '94, and they had the Art A series out by then, so that was kind of interesting to me. Um, Now we'll take a look at um, the linear power, and I took off the back, and I did this a while ago, and I'm like, where's all the components? Well, they're actually on top, except for this one component, and I have no idea what that is. It has thermal paste, and it um, touches the bottom plate. So I'd be interested if anybody knows what that is, why it's there. Another thing that's really cool is that, well, I thought it was anyway. As you can see here, they have in solder the name and then the model number. So I just really liked that. But yeah, the reason I can't really show more of this amp, I will in another video, but I'll have to put this plate back on and then take off the top plate because the only thing holding the two heat sinks on either side together is the PCB. So the transistors are clamped down to it with a solid aluminum bar, and then they're just soldered to this PCB, and that's the only thing bridging these two heat sinks. So I'll have to do it in a separate video showing the like the gut shot of this amp. Now moving on to the JL Audio 10W6. This one I have to refoam. It measured out fine on a as far as the ohms, so I'm hoping I don't have to do a total recone. But I hooked it up the three of them up to a 1400, and one of them had been refoamed before, and that one's fine. But the other two, the foam just came apart almost like within minutes. So I have to refoam this, and I'll have to somehow, if I do have to recone it, keeping the you can apply heat to the dust cap and pry it up, carefully to save that because they no longer have those. So they're kind of running out of parts for these things. But here's a front of the sub, and this one's not mint. It's the cone looks like somebody had it. Like when I bought it, it was already like this. They had something in their trunk, rubbing up against it or whatnot. But taking a look at the back, and for the time, as people probably remember, this was a massive magnet for the time, especially for a 10-inch. Um, it's got a boot on it, but there's dual slugs in this thing. Um, but yeah, it's pretty heavy for the time period and what it is. And these stickers are kind of they scratch real easy, so I try not to set it on it if I can. Um, but yeah, just a really high quality sub. The W6 I feel was kind of a game changer in car audio, raising the bar. Um, JL Audio, it didn't put them on the map. They were already there. They made their name in competitions in the early 90s, and for good reason. I mean, they were cleaning up the trophies. Um, they just, and a lot of times they were run with, because they didn't have an amplifier for till years later. Um, they made their name, in the competition, you know, I believe their owner had a vehicle that was kind of, had a lot of wins, and that's just kind of how they made their name. They did it by proving, what they were capable of, not selling it to other people, but using it themselves. And it's got JL's story. There's a couple videos online that are or on YouTube that are really good that kind of run it down. It's pretty interesting. I haven't had anything too recent from JL Audio. I had a W7, 12W7, and it's an awesome sounding sub. Um, I really don't. I end up selling it. I don't really collect anything post 2000 normally. But I mean they're amazing subs. But it's kind of interesting because they haven't really released anything to me that's groundbreaking in a long time. So I hope they're not resting on their laurels, and because they used to be at the forefront, and I'd kind of like to see that again from them. They haven't, other than shallow mount or different maybe stealth box designs, they haven't really had anything like this was like mid '90s the W6, and then around 2000 or 2001 the W7, and then that's kind of for me where it kind of ended for them. I don't really get that, but it's not uncommon for a lot of companies to do that. I haven't seen anything amazing from Kicker for quite some time, so I guess that's just kind of how it is. You make a big name for yourself, and then you just kind of put it on cruise control and collect the money. So that's the name of the game today. But yeah, these are just a few items that I wanted to show and talk about. And if if you guys want to leave comments and let me know your experiences with these, or what you thought about the time period. It's just and this is just when I was into car audio. So maybe 20 years from now, everybody's going to be reminiscing on how awesome Sundown used to be. But to me, it's kind of a different thing. But that's just because it's not of my era, I guess. But anyway, so just a quick video showing the gut shots, and then I'll do another one, like I said, on the linear power. And I just wanted to show a W6, out of the box, and then I'll pull an 18 W6 out. The only thing with that is, and mine are original because the company who made them for JL Audio, and I think 2011, released a whole bunch, but they weren't like through JL Audio in any way, and I think JL was not happy about that, and they sold out really quick because they were selling them dirt cheap, like I don't know, $120 or something like that, which is a steal of a deal on that subwoofer. Because originally the 18W6 I believe was retailed for like $670, and so if you get You can basically get like, 5 of them for that price. People snatched them up really quick. They were only out there for a real short time period. But the one way you can tell is they do not have the JL Audio sticker on the back of the motor assembly. So, and mine do, but like I said, they're not original. The foam is not like an OEM. They used, I think, what the best replacement they could. I don't know how much it changed the parameters. I know that I put it in the box that JL recommends, and to me, it sounds amazing. So, they work for me, and I do like them quite a bit. Probably it's the favorite sub I've ever run. So, but I haven't run this bad boy yet, or found a second one, because I don't know what it is. I want to I don't I want to run 2 subs. It's just, to me, it's kind of weird to run one. I'm sure that the thing would have plenty of output with just one sub, but um, I do want to do someday a comparison of the Kicker Comp 18 to the JL 18 W6s. I think that'd be a interesting video. So anyway, till next time.